I get airbags, coilovers, lowering springs? Stay tuned and you'll find out which one to get. So to get straight to the point, this video is going to be about whatever direction you're trying to go. There's a lot of people out there who are interested in airbags. Some people have coilovers, some people have lowering springs. So I'm going to share what I've been through each, because I've had coilovers, currently have air suspension, and I also have had lowering springs. So I just want to share some knowledge to let you know the pros and cons on having each one on your vehicle or your platform. So we're going to first start off with air suspension, and we're going to start with the pros and the cons on air suspension. Then we're going to trickle down to air springs, and coilover is kind of that, happy medium. So I'm probably going to hit on that last. So the first biggest thing, of course, people love air suspension because it gives you a cool, stanced out look. When you go to car meets or car shows, your car is low as possible. And it's just an amazing overall look for your vehicle if you're really big into the car scene, or if you just like that lowered look. So that's going to be the first perk in having air suspension, and why a lot of people do it. It's really big for the enthusiasts and the people who are, going to car shows or who have a passion about their car. That's the first thing. So the second thing is going to be one of my favorites. It helps me so much on my daily commute. When I'm driving, if I see a bump on the road, I can easily just switch up my air suspension to avoid that bump. A lot of higher end cars like Lamborghini and Ferrari actually have that function where if you're going up a driveway or a speed bump, that you can actually raise the front end of your car and lower it back down. So I think that's a great perk for having air suspension. You don't have to worry about any speed bumps on the road or getting up high driveways, whereas with a standard vehicle with extra accessories, you would have to worry about how you can get up. And I know a lot of systems like, AccuAir, Airlift, and even cheaper systems have it to where you can preset so you can immediately press a button and not have to worry about getting to your controls. A lot of times when you're putting on bigger wheels or you have some fitment on your wheels, having air suspension enables you to where you can adjust it how you want and understand exactly the limit to where your wheels or your specs can go. So it's a great tool in that sense. So the cons. On having air suspension, for me, is pretty simple. The first thing is it's super expensive. It has gotten better over the years. You can get a legit air suspension system for roughly around $1,000, but then there's the labor. But let me tell you, when it comes to labor, if you can change a strut, if you can change a shock, it's a very easy process. But it is a little bit more expensive than your traditional, than lowering springs and your traditional budget coilovers. So I would say you will have to check out a little bit more money when it comes to air suspension. Second thing with air suspension, and I'm not here to be biased towards air suspension because I have it, I'm gonna be very honest, is sometimes it goes out just like anything. It was a year where I had no issues with my air suspension, and one day my air suspension just went out. I had one of my bags that ruptured or had a hole, and so my car slammed to the ground and two wreckers could not tow my car. So I found myself in a very difficult situation when I was stranded. It's not like a traditional car where you have a flat tire or something goes wrong and you can just call anyone. I had to get a special wrecker, had to go through a complete, system as far as being able to lift my vehicle up for the wrecker. So when you're stranded, you're stranded. The third thing, like I said in all of my videos, like for example, when I added the oil catch can to my car, it's an extra maintenance, something that you have to look out for your vehicle, something that you have to cater to. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not something you consistently have to if you get it done right. But if you don't get it done right, you can have a leak here, a leak there. So it's something you just have to have your mind on. But it's no different than, having a traditional air suspension in your vehicle and having to monitor that as well. So now we're going to move over to lowering springs. So the first pro about lowering springs, it handles better. I'm someone who is on air suspension. It's a smooth ride. But at the end of the day, a traditional spring handles better on your vehicle, especially if you're going high speeds or if you're trying to take it to the track. You definitely want to go with a lowering spring. It just handles better. air suspension is great. A lot of the modern vehicles have air suspension, and some even have it to where you incorporate the springs and the air suspension together on on a lot of the newer exotic cars. So it just handles better overall. Now, don't get me wrong, the lowering springs does not handle your damper, or it doesn't handle your struts, but overall it just gives you that strength that you need in your vehicle. Second thing, and it kind of coincides with what I said with the air suspension, is it's no maintenance. Springs in general really don't need any maintenance, and they can last a lifetime. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about something leaking or something being cut. It's just actually some metal. It's actually just metal in your vehicle, so it's just zero maintenance to it. The third thing is, depending on what lowering springs you get, it can be really firm and just give you confidence when you're driving on the road. So the cons of lowering springs, unfortunately, you can't avoid bumps. When you're driving on the road and you have your car a little bit lower than stock, and sometimes even stock, if you put a bumper lip on there, you can't avoid it. You can a lot of times damage the front end of your vehicle, or your side skirts, especially if you're trying to customize your vehicle. And if you have a stock vehicle, you still have that chance. The last thing is kind of the best of both worlds: coilovers. Now that's if you get adjustable coilovers. So with adjustable coilovers, you can adjust your ride height when you want, how you want. Some of them even have adjustable camber, so it's kind of like a one-stop shop for you. Whereas with air suspension, the lower your car goes, and as well as with lowering springs, it cambers traditionally just a little bit inward. So with coilovers, you can readjust that if you get the right ones. And so you have the best of both worlds. You can adjust it, you can have a great ride quality. However, I would say the con in having coilovers is the maintenance on wanting to adjust them when you are trying to get that specific ride height, and also, unfortunately, not being able to immediately respond to something in the road. So this is just my personal opinion on air suspension versus lowering springs versus coilovers. So it's to each his own. It depends. It's to each his own. It depends on what platform you have and what you're looking for. So if you're someone out there who really loves the car scene, I say get your air suspension. And I'm going to let you know right now, I'm able to track my car with air suspension. So there's not an issue with me tracking my car. If you're someone who's spirited and you're doing a lot of rally, driving, and you're hitting the corners really, really hard, I would definitely, recommend, you getting some lowering springs, some lowering springs or some coilovers, because it's just going to be more durable, and it can probably withstand the cornering and the turning a little bit more. If you're not doing aggressive driving, you can go ahead and go, with some air suspension. But if you're doing aggressive driving, I would say lowering springs or coilovers. Also, the main thing between coilovers and lowering springs, coilovers actually is your entire strut, it's your entire suspension system. So it has a dampering system, so it's able to give you that full effect. And the same goes for air suspension. Air suspension, it comes with the entire strut. So your system is within that strut in that air suspension, whereas lowering springs are just going to be just the springs that go inside that system. So a lot of misconceptions that people have is that lowering springs will completely change your system. It's just going to be able to lower your vehicle, and it's going to set your vehicle to a certain firmness of the vehicle. When it comes to actually being able to get that extra feel of that car, that's where your actual strut or your shock is going to play that role. So yeah, this is Bruce Custom Motors with another video for you guys. This was a subscriber request. If you guys have any more videos that you would like me to hit on, let me know. I did get a subwoofer installed, so I'm going to be having that one coming out real shortly. Make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate all the subscribers from day one, and the new subscribers. You guys take care, stay blessed.